It's just another manic Wednesday. Oh, checking on all my trades. Yeah, yeah. Let's see where we stand right here and right now on Wednesday, August 9th, 20 on the 23 on the Mayan calendars. It is 9:26 a.m. and this is probably a trade recently that I would make, I should say, not a trade, closing a trade that I would make off camera, but I wanted to get back to making more of my moves on camera like I was doing early on because I do miss you. I ain't missing you at all. No, I am. I'm missing you. We're not talking enough. So here we are. I wanted to show you this is a position that I've been in for seems like forever. It's a 115 Valero put, and there's 10 contracts. And when Valero was pushing down to like 105, 106, this trade was making my butt stink. So I had rolled it out on May 4th. I rolled it out to September 15th, and I did collect $1,500 for doing so. But there's still $115,000 being held in collateral. So what I wanted to try to do is close it out right now. Could I close it at 55 cents? Pay the $550 and get it off the books, and I do believe very strongly in Valero, and I believe that they could be $180 by the end of the year. That's truly how I believe. But in the meantime, there could be and likely will be another little bit of a dipsy do in the price of Valero, and I don't really need more shares. So there is the release of collateral that I'm looking for, 115,000. And I'll show you why in a moment. So the bid and ask has shrunk, and it does that often, as you've probably noticed when I get into the actual or try to get into the actual position, it will show a tighter bid and ask window. So let's see if we just put it on the board for now and leave it up and try to get it filled. Why does it say I don't have enough shares? You can only buy 0 contracts. I don't believe you. I really don't. So let's go back to the big board. Robinhood does this from time to time. So it's already on the board, is what you're saying. So let me look over on the Big Mac and see what Valero's doing. That should fill. And there it goes. Hey, that you actually got something right. As I said it, that should fill. It filled. So we are pushing all-time highs again, 1.739. So that is very nice. The market is cooperating with us. And because of our huge oil positions, it is making us look like we know what we're doing when really we're just here for fun and learning experiences. So that Valero's off the board. And here's the math. So I paid $550 to get it off the board, right? And there's 37 days left. Okay, there's 37 days left in that put position between now and September 15th. So if we use some abacus math, if we take the $115,000 that was being held in collateral and multiply it by the current interest that Robinhood is paying me for doing nothing, just holding cash in the account, we would see that on an annual basis, that 115,000 would earn $5,635. So then if we divide it by 365, right, and then multiply it by the 37 days left in that trade, the interest alone is more than what I just paid to get out of that trade. And that $115,000 was just sitting there, like growing mold, getting dusty, coughing. When are you gonna get me out of here and put me to work? So right now we did put it to work, just sitting in downtown to Chinatown, sitting there in our account, collecting 4.9% interest, which that 571, according to my beep, boop, boop, according to my math, is higher and greater than $550 bills. So we just got off of that position that had been making my butt stink for a long time. We still ended it very profitable because there was an initial trade. So that started as a training wheel. I'll have to update the spreadsheet on that, but it started as a training wheel on a put credit spread, and then I sold the long leg out from under it, made some money there, and then rolled that 115 position. And as you saw, you saw the $1,500 we collected. Just paid $550 back now. And even if I do nothing with that $115,000, I'm still going to make $21 extra for doing nothing and de-risking, because as you know, I'm still in a pretty oil and energy heavy account as far as my current positions. Like for instance, energy transfer, Devon Energy, Valero, ENO EOG Resources, Exxon Mobil. Speaking of Devon, that reminds me, I need to sell some calls on this. So we're at 51.80 today. My cost basis position is 52.80. We have 1,300 shares. So I was thinking about like a 55. What do you think about 55? I can't drive 55. And let's go out 9 days on that, just to see what 55 could do. Maybe 54. Well, you're getting risky. Well, now that I just de-risked $115,000, we can play a little. Let's look at the math on the 55 first. Okay, so the 0.13, and if it was on the $55 bills, and then we divided that by the number of days in the trade, and then we multiplied it by the annualized, it'd be at 9.5%. Which is not necessarily what we're looking for, is it? It is not. I know they have ex-dividend coming up in, I think, about a month. So we're not in any type of dividend risk because we still want to remain owners of Devon Energy and collect dollar bills on the dividends. But I do think, again, and I've said this the last few videos, there is going to be still yet another dip in some of these energy stocks like Devon Energy and Valero before then racing back up to higher than where they're at now. Like for instance, I'm looking over at Valero and they're just rolling. They're at 134.16. So we do have 130 calls in place that are just like gasping for air right now. So we'll be looking to roll that, but I'm gonna have to wait probably another day or two. It might have to be the end of the week before I roll those Valeros. But right now we need to concentrate on what are we going to do with Devon. Devon up nearly 2% today. Is the 54, let's put so we get 26 cents on the 54. Okay, so this should improve our numbers dramatically. So that puts us at just about that 20%, which is like, the number we like to hit. Let's put it on the board and see what happens. I think we have 13 of those, right? 1,300 shares available. Oh, we might be able to put the 27 on the board and see how we do. That'd be $351 in 9 days. Covered call, 1,300 shares as collateral. Let's see if Devon Energy fills for us. Be real sweet to us and fill it up. We're on the high end of that bid and ask. We could just replace it now and move on with our lives. I do have a meeting at noon, so I got to mentally prepare for that, which, for me is challenging. Let's look at Devon. I'm looking over at Alibaba as well, just making me look silly based on my purchase last week. Still not done with the Baba. Between now and the end of the year, I'm going to make some do-re-mi on Baba. Mark them. Mark my words with a B. Let's get the Devon up on the big board. I want to see what they're doing minute by minute. Because we can leave that up, right? And it fills. Or, so it must be just ticking just a little bit down. Yes, it is. Or we can replace that order. Crude oil up 1.35% today. I love when you just sit there and you don't say anything, Bart. I can't do two things at once. We're going to leave it on the board for now. We've got faith in crude oil today. 51.72 is Devon. So we'll leave it on the board for now. What else is up there? Gilead is probably under pressure. La 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 la. Oh, ET's probably under pressure too. So Energy Transfer, yeah, it's at 1302, and I'm at 13. So I got to keep an eye on this because it's a juggling act. It is a tightrope act that we are going to try to accomplish with Energy Transfer, which is we want to remain owners through Friday, because on Friday morning, which is when these call options expire, they expire at the end of trading on Friday. But as of the morning of Friday, August 11th, we will then lock in our next round of we'll knock in our next round of dividends on Energy Transfer, and they pay like $1 bazillion in dividends. So let's look at what their quarterly is going to be. It's going to be 31 cents. I own 1,000 shares, so that's $310. $310 for just a few more days ownership on a under a $13,000 position, because my position on Energy Transfer is $12.52 per share. So we can't let, if Energy Transfer continues to ride today and tomorrow, it's easily and maybe certainly possible that those shares will be called away at $13, so that new owner can try to collect those dividends right from under me. That's rude, isn't it? It is. It's rude, but the volatility of crude oil. Okay, so that Devon is probably filled. I would imagine that Devon is filled. Let's go back to the board. Hold on, I'm going to pause this. I hear Sweetheart calling me. That Devon's still on the board. Hold on one second. Okay, right back with you live. And in fact, look at this. Look at it, Sweetheart. 1741. That Devon Energy call did fill, as I was hoping it would. So we collected those dollar bills. But as I was saying, the Energy Transfer, we got to keep an eye on. We want to collect that next dividend if at all possible. We may have to roll out again just to try to pull the shell game act on that position. And then Gilead, they're way under pressure. What are they at? 8106. So I'm fully and completely fine with allowing it to be called away at $79. And then, it's like, why would you leave all that money on the table? But we would look to roll it first to see what those numbers are. Okay, so if we did roll it out a week, and we'd have to cover here, right? Wait, where are we at? Going the wrong way. There we are. Can we cover there? No, we'd have to cover here. So we'd make $165. Now that's just quick math, right? So 7,900 times 500. So that's a lot of money. So your math is way off. So let's do that again. 7,900 times 5. That's where the math is. You're confusing yourself. So 39,500. Write that down in the little notepad. Whoop, 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 whoop. And then we have $170 divided by 39,500 divided by, we would be adding, let's use the 9 days from this trade. So if we did it right now, divided by 9, multiplied by 365, we'd be at 17.4. So we would definitely consider that roll, but I'm going to watch it another day or so before we decide what we're going to do with Gilead Sciences. But in general, I am bullish on energy, and I'm a little bit bearish on the S&P for the rest of the year. Now, it doesn't mean it won't push up to another high, but I think the likelihood of it having going downtown to Chinatown this year is still in play. And so I'm being a little defensive, as you can probably tell by my lack of trades. And I'm trying to stockpile the cash. Where is it? So that number will change. That'll go up by $115,000 tomorrow at my 4.9%, because that'll be that Valero collateral will be released. So it will be right here sitting on over 800K collecting interest. And you can see I've got just not a ton of positions open, and still very bullish on oil. But again, my theory or thesis is that it will still go down a little bit this year before then going up to high. And well, where did you come up with that idea, Bart? Well, I shouldn't tell you this, but I'll tell you anyway. I've been studying some VooDoo, market VooDoo, and you've probably heard of it. It's called Elliott wave theory, along with Fibonacci retracement. I mean, these are foreign terms to me just a few weeks ago, but I've been studying these things, and they're pretty fascinating. It is probably witchcraft, but in general, when you look back to the history of the market, it's essentially, I would say, trend trading, because it's based on investor psychology, which is fascinating to me, because I think as biological creatures, we are incredibly controlled by our biology. For instance, the people that are very overweight, they don't want to be very overweight, but their biology says if there's food, eat it. Okay, so that is our biology. And you look at, if you've had your eyes open over the last few years, you've noticed some very fascinating events that occur with the female persuasion, with these fake eyelashes and the Botox and the puffy lips. That's all for one reason. That's biology, because they're we all are, we are wired to procreate. We are wired to produce more of us. That is our biology, period. So when you see a 30, 40, 50, 70-year-old woman with puffy lips from injections, that is not necessarily that she is making a rational decision. It's a biology based decision. It's psychology. And I think the market, for the most part, works the same way, because, and I've mentioned it before, where I've thought, man, based on the information that just came out today, the market should be down, yet sometimes it will go up. What could that be? Well, that is psychology. That's the sentiment of the investor in the market. And Valero's still racing, by the way. Hello. So, Elliott wave theory, extremely complicated. I don't know if I'm going to bail out or not. It reminds me of like geometry and stuff. And I know for a fact I only passed geometry in high school because my teacher was one of the baseball coaches. Thank you, Mr. Tomes. So I probably got a little bit of preferential treatment in that regard. So I'm hoping to stick with it and maybe try to figure something out that looks interesting. But essentially what Elliott wave theory states is that the market, because of sentiment, because of trends, trades in waves. 5 waves up, sometimes 3 waves down, sometimes 5 waves down. And right now, what I'm looking at when I look at Valero Energy and Devon, we're in what could be the 4th and 5th wave. So possibly the 4th wave up, or 4th wave down, I should say. So if it was 3 waves up, then there's a retracement down. And this could be that 4th wave right here, and because it goes 1 up, 2 down, 3 up, and 3 is always the longest. Okay, and it's based on percentages. So this would be like a 3 from here to here. So we went 1 up, 2 down, 3 up, all the way to here. And and this is over a long period. This is from the March 2020 lows. But the theory states that it's a 5 waver, and there's in between, there are shorts of 3 and 5 waves, ups and downs as well. I can't even really speak of it intelligently yet, but I'm going to continue to try. So that's where I get my current thesis regarding S&P 500 and oil and energy and even metals. So I'm starting to look at silver and gold as well, both of which are going to be going down before then. Both will go up this year. So that's what I enjoy about recording these. We'll do it live. I record these in real time with no script. Then we can look back on them and say, look at what a bozo you were. Or maybe, hey, you might be onto something. I'd love to be onto something. Probably not. It's probably just voodoo or witchcraft, but it's enjoyable for me to try to learn these things. So that's where we're at currently. I'll be checking back. Do have a meeting at noon, but I do plan on coming back with another video after that meeting. It shouldn't take very long. So I should be able to come back before the end of market today. Thanks for checking in. Subscribe, like, comment, and I will see you in the next video.